stuff like
okay,
that.
if we're recording right now, I would like to say this. Interesting how USA was cut and Theory Night in Canada didn't produce an episode for a month.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
We had some restructuring.
Yeah.
The Doge cuts were harsh.
Secure some new revenue sources.
George Soros still coming in for us, though.
Yeah.
We get the Ontario election out of the way, and then everything else can be just everything else.
We should probably talk about the Ontario election. Which
One
happened
thing I have
at
to
the time of
figure out-
recording yesterday.
Yeah.
I voted.
Hot off the presses.
I voted. I was forced to strategically vote NDP
Yeah.
because there's no Communist Party
The Social
in the
Fascist
riding.
Party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I voted for the National Socialist Democratic Party.
National Socialist
N,
Democratic
right?
Workers Party.
Yeah.
And bracket SDP.
I also, there was, it was a not close, but close enough race that I was like, okay, I will actually strategically vote. In my area, there were 5 ideologically liberal parties, so I voted for one of the ideologically liberal parties, and I really felt like it's going to make a difference.
Where did the communists run? They only fielded like 8 candidates.
Kingston?
They ran in 2 ridings that I could have voted in. This
What's
riding-
your address again?
Can you go through each riding by name, please?
So I was forced to strategically vote NDP. I think the riding I voted in was decided for the Conservatives by less than 100 votes, so I'm glad I voted NDP.
Oh, I kid.
Wait. Is Cobalt, Ontario, the only place that really matters? Is that in the orange or is that
Of course, that's in the
Conservative?
orange.
Okay,
Isn't
just
the
making
Nickel
sure.
Belt
Just making
riding?
sure.
It's Temiskaming.
I wasn't sure if it was like just there.
Now I noticed
Temiskaming?
Temiskaming is
Yeah.
this one here
I know.
Wait, did
Well, I was saying
our,
to
did
piss
our
him
riding
in.
that we voted seriously lose?
by less than 100 votes.
I was literally thinking it was like, oh, maybe I should strategically vote
That's also pretty
liberal.
narrow.
Well,
And I didn't.
I am
and
so
this is
glad.
my personal fault.
No,
I've got
I am
good
so glad the Liberals ate such shit.
you do not have
No,
100
okay, wait,
votes.
This is
It's
this was
500
that's what I told. That's what I
it's
told.
Bonnie Crombie cope ass speech.
Yeah. Okay. I will say this.
5
Fuck the
votes.
Liberal Party. I am so glad they ate shit. I hope they eat shit in every election from now until the
Sorry.
end of time.
Sorry, you're gonna bleep this out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Conservatives won by 5,000 votes.
No. I'm talking.
Yeah.
The last election, I was actually hired to do IT work, just
Yeah.
like
And
getting
he
the.
screwed it up so badly.
Yeah, I accidentally made it so that all votes were conservative.
You didn't tell us
No,
until
but
after.
there was like a lot of technical issues going on. Not like anything crazy, just shit was taking forever. So I made a bunch of notes just for how to patch things up just on the fly. Because the notes they gave us for how to set everything up were pretty terrible. The formatting was bad, like spelling issues and all of that. So I showed the tech lead guy that was like in our spot. I sent him that and I said that I wrote a little thing that was easy to read. And he said, "Oh, do you mind if I could take a look at that?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." I gave it to him. He sent it to every single polling station in Ontario. So all the technology was running off of my instructions, and I was getting paid like shit. Fuck. But there you go. That was pretty good. I did not get to see whether they were still using my instructions this election, and that is one of the saddest things that could happen.
You got paid in Elections Ontario duffel bags.
I lost my duffel bag. Shrey, did you get
Is
me
that the
another
one that's
duffel
supposed to be
bag?
the Center Ice Party or some spin-off?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Fuck,
So
man. Okay.
The CCP.
I will
What's
say
the
this.
whole point of this election if we're not getting Elections Ontario merch? Like,
I
what's
got
the
Election
point?
Ontario posters.
The other thing is, okay, first of all, I want to read off the list of parties that were running.
So I can talk
A
for
million.
hours on this, but I'll
Yeah.
talk at the end.
Yeah, so there was a million parties running this election.
80%
There
of
was-
them are conservative.
80% of them were just like the Canadian centrist party for forward progress or something
Yeah,
like
I had the moderate party, and I'm like, we have the Liberals and the Conservatives and the
Liberals
NDP.
are
That's
liberal.
all moderate.
No, but Liberals are liberal, Conservatives are conservative. We need something in the middle.
We need
A moderate.
Oh, that's so true.
We
A
need
moderate.
a third Vevey.
Why hasn't
third
anyone
way?
thought about being economically conservative and socially liberal before?
Wait. Should we make a party on that?
Holy shit, you're good. We should call it the third arrow
what?
part.
Third,
What?
the third way.
The wall.
Okay,
What's your
so-
cracker ass giggling?
Okay,
at?
so I'm looking at the registered parties, just going through them. It's like 90% centrist parties, then the Communist Party, right?
Yeah.
So first,
There's no fascist party?
First on the list. Oh, we're about to get into that.
Okay.
First on the list is Canadians' Choice Party, just a generic ass conservative party.
Yeah, I
If you go
guess
to their
the Canadians
Wikipedia
did not
page,
choose.
if you go to their Wikipedia page, controversy and associations with neo-Nazism.
Yup.
Communist Party of Canada, Ontario faction, the only non-liberal
Oh
party
my god.
running.
Banned by Canada Post for carrying anti-Semitic and racist content.
Yeah, so they were running. That actually might be the only other fringe party besides the communists.
What about the new blue?
Thankfully, the communists got more votes than.
Oh wait, we're about,
Wait,
actually there's
did
another
they?
fascist party in here. Okay, so
Yeah, thank God they did.
New Blue is conservatives who are just like,
alt-right.
I don't think the conservatives are conservative.
Just alt-right.
you know?
Yeah, so Canadians' Choice Party, Nazis. Communist Party of Canada, communist, obviously.
Real party.
A real party. Electoral Reform Party, liberals who think they can fix liberalism. That's what I assume.
Wait. You when you mean Nazi, you mean literally Nazi? Like
I
Paul-
meant
like,
literally
he
Nazi.
read
I was
a-
reading off the Wikipedia page.
There's literally a section called controversy and association with neo-Nazis.
Paul Fromm was one of the candidates. Like that's
Wait,
crazy.
what?
Paul
Frederick
Fromm.
Paul Fromm, born
guy
January
who was
3rd,
the-
1949, is a Canadian former high school teacher, white supremacist, neo-Nazi, and perennial political candidate.
Yeah.
This is a different one than the other candidate who ran in like Etobicoke Center. So they have the same last name.
Oh, that's
He
right.
was famous for saying we should scalp the indigenous people.
Oh, okay.
This guy's living in 1801.
I would
Paul
love to give a
Fromm,
special.
parenthesis, white supremacist.
I would love to give a special shout out to our my high
He's
school.
Latinx.
If I
Latinx.
didn't dox myself by doing so, but we did
my
have
God.
mass at one point. And what are you showing?
Fromm was an admirer of Fidel Castro in the early 1960s.
All right, we did get
Ancient.
pulled aside for half an hour for a priest to tell us to talk to us about how indigenous people were just
Oh,
lazy.
this is the
Really?
Nazi, not
Yeah.
the communist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
There, yeah.
2017,
I
I,
thought it was
believe.
That's recent.
2017.
That's recent.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
CCP.
Oh,
and
you're-
it's communist.
I thought about. I didn't know how, but I thought about going to the news with that. 2 people involved with it are dead, which makes me very happy. But the other 2 people involved with it are doing better than ever, which makes me very sad.
Hopefully they learn.
Talking about Paul Fromm, first of all,
But there you go.
classic case. A Latinx king turned white supremacist. He's Colombian.
Oh.
Colombia with an O.
What did we expect?
Colombia.
Yeah, so Colombian man. His party affiliation, social credit in the 70s. Social credit is never beating the allegations, I have to say.
Social fascist.
Yeah. He was a school board trustee for Etobicoke. Least Nazi school board trustee, probably. I have to
In
say.
Etobicoke, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Electoral Reform Party, liberals who think they can fix liberalism. Freedom Party of Ontario,
Oh, so-
probably another fascist
One last
party.
thing about Paul Fromm. He was
Yeah.
famous for being the guy behind the Friends of Rhodesia campaign.
Oh my
Holy fuck.
So,
Yeah, so Green Party of Ontario, another Nazi party. New Blue Party of Ontario, another Nazi party. New Democratic Party of
Another
Ontario,
Nazi.
Another Nazi party.
None of the above direct democracy party. Now we're getting to spicy liberals.
Yeah.
Noda.
Yeah, so these guys are. I actually was looking these guys up before the election because they run in this riding. None of the above democracy.
The one we're currently sitting in that's not named.
Yeah. They do run here.
I'm leaving that shit in.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Northern Ontario
Oh,
party.
we've got so Noda. Fun little fact: whenever Noda has like the none of the above party, whenever they want to run, they always change the last name of the person running. So it has a Z in the beginning. That way, it's always at the bottom. So it can always be a none of the above.
Okay.
All right,
quite
fellas. As a side note, because I forgot about this before, the snacks 2 millimeters from the mic is always so fucking good. It is so loud. Usually I can do okay by filtering out certain
Listen, if you're listening to this,
waves.
Remember the one we recorded in the summer where I was eating like chips or whatever the
Yeah.
whole time?
Yeah.
you're listening to this, enjoy your slop, pig.
Yeah.
Enjoy your little slop fest. Northern Ontario Party,
Good people.
first of all, obviously liberal, right? But like the
My dad-
Anglo plague of regional nationalism.
Yeah.
That's really how you know Quebec is.
Peep the leader, Jacques Ouellet.
I was gonna say that's how you know French Canadians are basically Anglos who speak French. Because they've discovered regional nationalism, which is a classic Anglo curse.
Because there's now like Acadian nationalism.
Ontario Alliance, probably another centrist party. Ontario Centrist Party, another centrist party. Ontario
Another
Liberal
Nazi
Party,
another
Nazi
centrist
party.
Ontario Libertarian Party,
Another
some
Nazi
old
party.
school liberals.
Wait, did you see the Ontario Liberal tweet from Oshawa?
No.
Oh man, I'll be
What
going
was
to
it?
that.
Anyways,
Were
keep
they
going down the
pissed
list.
that they lost?
No, the one that before where she had to drop a candidate.
Oh. I was gonna say also my dad like sometimes tells me about like the Northern Ontario Party because of course they were around when he was young and how they wanted to like move the capitals to some like nowhereville town if Northern Ontario became a separate province.
Move the capital to Cobalt.
Like not in Sault Ste. Marie, not in Thunder Bay, not in Sudbury, but like I can't even remember the name. Like it was like a 1,000 people town.
Actually, fuck that. Keep Cobalt sane. All right,
Yeah.
move the capital to New Lisker.
New Liskern could use it. Ontario Party, Party
Fascist.
for People with Special Needs. This is a special interest group party.
Yeah,
They ran only 2 candidates. I remember that.
yeah.
Populist Party of Ontario, presumably another fascist party. Progress Party of Ontario, presumably a centrist party. Progressive Conservatives, we know them, another Nazi party. Stop the New Sex Ed Agenda.
Another Nazi
party.
party.
What?
Okay, this was founded in 2016, so this was like the anti-Kathleen Wynne sex ed
Yes.
agenda that Ford then
Yes.
repealed.
Yeah.
So like this is like the Japanese soldiers still fighting World War II in the 1980s.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. This was recent.
This was
No.
this was
Oh, this
election.
was 2023. I thought
He tweeted
Share with the
2023.
class, friends.
this Shrey's showed me another thing about
The
the liberals showing their fangs a little bit, but it brings us back
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Sing Nijar,
Yeah.
aka the time where Polyever just dropped the N-word in
Accident.
Sing
Parliament.
N-word.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
But there was a tweet that Jugmeat posted out, saying that the agents of the Indian government killed a guy in Vancouver, and the eventual Oshawa Liberal candidate replied with, "You can thank India for cleaning trash people. Ask your gay friend Justin Trudeau to do the same." And when asked about this, Bonnie Crombie said he did some unfortunate things, but this is a clear distraction by the PCs.
Yeah, thinking of unfortunate things, can we get to fuck Bonnie Crombie now?
Oh my god, I have a whole rant on this. Fuck the Ontario Liberal Party. Fuck Bonnie Crombie. I'm so glad she lost her riding. What an intense humiliation for the most entitled party in Canadian politics. Fuck every branch of the Liberal Party in every province at every level of government.
She also
The absolute fucking entitlement of this woman who runs a fake party that barely existed. The TV brought up something that just says fake on it. It's an audio meeting. But her fake ass party running a right wing campaign, going out and demanding NDP voters vote for her party that isn't real. Fuck Bonnie Crombie. I am so glad they lost. I wish there was a strategic voting website that let you do anyone but liberal calculations.
So the strategic voting website did screw over a lot of people.
How?
Because they kept saying that a lot of them just pushed the liberals
Oh.
because of
of
projections.
course.
Of course.
And I will say this. I
This is
said
what
this.
the liberals always fucking do.
I said this in the Neo Theory Night in Canada group chat. Okay, the conservatives are openly our enemy. They stab you in the front. The liberals stab you in the back. They present themselves as the only hope of the left in Ontario, and then govern the exact same privatization regime as the conservatives.
They're the party of business. Like Jesus. Like
They sold Hydro One.
Yeah.
like this is something that always pisses me off is that every time another election rolls around, the liberals are always saying that the NDP shouldn't split the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
And
about
it's
you
like-
stop splitting the vote? You were a smaller party. You don't exist.
They came in third
Yeah,
place.
no, I was
you need
literally-
to cease existing
I
to stop
literally-
splitting the fucking vote.
I made a joke about it with my dad on election night yesterday, where every time I was like finding these ridings, and I'm like, the liberals are splitting the vote.
Yeah.
Like in Mushkewagong, James Bay, the NDP won, beating out the Conservatives by 4 friggin' votes.
The liberals got
4?
600. The liberals
Yeah.
got 600
votes. They're splitting the vote.
So
I'm so glad Bonnie Crombie got absolutely humiliated yesterday. Lost her own riding.
The Liberals split the vote in Sault Ste. Marie too. The NDP
did.
could have won.
did
The NDP
split.
only lost by like 120 votes
Yeah.
or 118 votes, whereas the Libs got like 3,000 votes. There's like so many examples of like the NDP coming close and the Liberals splitting it, and they always seem to frickin' whine and bellyache when it's like the NDP, but they will never, ever extend the same grace. They will never say, we will take one for the team and vote for the NDP. They will never do that. They're not our friends.
I would love to say a few things here. Where in 2018, when the Liberals were clearly in third place, because a lot of missteps by Madam Wynne and the rest of the Liberals, on the last 3 or 4 days of the election, she said, "I'm sorry, I failed. I will step down as leader. Don't vote the NDP if you want to compete with Doug Ford."
Yeah.
It was
she literally said, I hope for either an NDP or a PC minority.
Yeah. And not even that. She said, if you want to stand up against Doug Ford, vote Liberal, don't vote NDP.
Yeah.
Like, how more blatant can you be? In 2022, they did the same thing. In 2024, Liberals won way more votes, but they have no idea how to win a campaign riding. And the same thing happened. They came third.
Also,
I've said
horrific voting efficiency.
Yes.
Quite possibly the worst voter efficiency I have ever seen in any election
Bonnie
ever.
Crombie wins 1.4 or 1.2 million votes, asked to win 14 seats.
Yeah.
NDP wins 900,000 votes, asked to win 27.
Yeah.
I've been saying for a long time that one of the most annoying and devious things that liberals have done isn't straight up just capturing leftist votes by being a larger centrist quote-unquote party, but finding people who are learning their ideas and figuring stuff out, and the Liberal Party goes to them and convinces them that their ideas are liberal and then doesn't represent them.
I blame Americans for that.
Yes.
So
that's bigger because we have the NDP, but it's still here.
This pulls into the whole mystification of class identity through culture war, because the Liberals are a social liberal party, and they're able to successfully convince kind of some of the more stupid voters who are left-wing that they are just as left-wing as the NDP.
Yeah.
When literally all they both agree on is that we shouldn't murder gay people.
Yeah.
I really hate those people who are we should merge Liberal and NDP. They're not
ridiculous.
They're not close at all.
We know what happens. We have the United States. We have an anemic Liberal Party that bleeds to death.
We should merge the Liberal and the NDP into the Communist Party.
No.
And force them all to read shit.
So here's another fun fact.
How many proletarian classes are there?
Yeah.
One?
So
why do you need more than one party?
Both the Liberal and NDP are splitting votes away from the Communist Party. All right.
True.
So here's another fun fact.
Speech bubble.
For all those folks who keep saying the Liberals,
I'm still sad I missed that presentation.
For all the folks who keep saying Liberals and NDP are the same, in 2018 the Liberals lost. Right, they came third. Mm-hmm. The NDP came second, and the Conservatives came first.
Yeah.
A majority of the Liberal votes went elsewhere, right? That's why they lost. A majority of those went to the Conservative. Liberals, by nature, are more open to voting Conservative than they are to voting.
Yes, exactly. We saw this exact thing in the United States in 2008. Most Clinton voters in 2008 defected to McCain.
Yes, over
Obama.
Yeah.
Who wasn't even a left-wing candidate.
Yeah, and okay, that's another point that I wanted to touch on about the Liberals never extending grace to the NDP, is that the Liberals are the party of business, and they're the party of shithead professionals who live in the GTA suburbs and who commute to downtown Toronto to work on fucking Bay Street.
Yep.
They're not working. They're most Liberal voters are not working class, in the sense of they actually are lower proletarians. They're at
not.
best
They don't
upper,
have to grind.
Yeah, I mean at best they're salaried workers.
Yeah.
Which still makes them definitionally proletarian, but they are bourgeois in their morality and their culture.
They're bourgeois proletarians.
I think they were for a long time. They used to win the more working class cities for a long time until very recently.
Yeah. Also, this is something my dad personally made a note of that he was kind of shocked about, is how recently southwestern Ontario cities have gone more NDP over time.
Yeah.
2018. London's all three of London's ridings were NDP.
Windsor went NDP.
No, Windsor not.
Windsor one. Okay,
one
so
agree.
Windsor technically has two: Windsor West and Windsor Tecumseh.
Technically three. Essex also has
But Windsor West.
That's where they buried Tecumseh.
Windsor.
They didn't die that far away from them.
Kitchener. One of its ridings went NDP. The other one green. Kitchener.
Fuck the Green Party, by the way.
Wait, a lot to say about the Green Party.
Wait.
okay.
Whoa. Hold on. Kitchener-Conestoga candidate Mike Harris.
That's his dad was premier before.
No. But that's Mike Harris's son, also called Mike Harris.
No, that's Mike Harris's son.
Who?
Oh, in
Harris
2018?
Jr.?
Oh, sorry.
No, this is now. Mike Harris won Kitchener-Conestoga. Is this Mike Harris's son?
When, now or before?
Now.
Now, no, that's his son. Yeah.
He would be his son now.
No.
And he would be his son before.
Mike Harris.
No, Michael Harris, who's the former MPP for Kitchener-Conestoga, was not Mike Harris' son. But the current Mike Harris, who's also the MPP for Kitchener-Conestoga, is Mike Harris' son.
A sort of
That's fucked
J.D.
up,
Vance
man.
looking figure.
Oh my Christ.
Yeah, but you can see the junior.
R/punchable.
Yeah. Okay. So that's also kind of fucked for me. Okay, Guelph went green, but Guelph, it seems
always
like
goes
they all
green.
like their MPP.
Yeah.
The NDP lost Hamilton Mountain, but they held on to Center
Center.
and West
Screw
Ancaster.
Sarah Jama, by the way.
I don't know. I think
Niagara went orange.
Before we've already moved on, but
So-
I gotta get one more thing in,
I've got a lot more things
which
to
is that like the Liberal Party is the party of market capitalism. If you're not motivated by like actively trying to kill poor people,
Yes. The Liberal Party is quite literally the party of philosophical idealism.
Yeah.
Like not like idealism as in anti-pragmatism, idealism as in like the 19th century idea.
Yeah.
That the only things that like all problems can be solved with debate and the marketplace of ideas, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that is literally Mark Carney's economic vision is values.
I would
Yeah.
argue that all the major parties in Canada believe.
I mean, obviously they're all liberal parties, they're all idealists, but
Yeah.
the Liberal Party of Ontario, like specifically, is the party that's like we can fix capitalism by engendering positive values.
Yeah.
We don't need regulation. We don't need
Yeah.
all this
Yeah.
market.
the Conservatives will at least grind to get their shit done and do corrupt shit to get it done.
Yeah.
Where the Liberals will be like, oh, we just need to convince more people.
National region, 3 of the 4 went NDP.
the cities.
only one,
The cities win.
yeah, the only one to say that was the rural area where like Nazi bitch Sam Oosterhoff won.
would go that far, but pretty far right.
Oh, you haven't been listening to
Okay,
the podcast
yeah.
recently. If you realize that
The amount of episodes that have gone by since Liam called someone a Nazi is back to zero.
well, I mean, I've been
We
calling people Nazis
did
in
make
this
it,
episode.
I think, an episode and a half.
Yeah.
Because the last episode was just us talking about Brat for 35. No, we talked about
we talked
about
about
Elon being a Nazi, so
Yeah, and with this
He is
episode, we
actually
talked
a
about
Nazi.
the Canadian Choice Party, which is an openly Nazi party.
Oshawa was NDP, which
Jennifer French.
I think the PCs held it maybe like
Nope.
2 elections ago, or they have it
No,
solid.
Jennifer French, the Queen, has been there since 2014.
Okay.
Liberals before then, or 2015ish.
Ajax was a
went liberal.
surprise in that it went liberal by like less than 300 votes. Like seriously, there are some like a decent amount of like really narrow wins that will probably be subject to a recount soon, especially
The
James Bay.
4-vote one.
Every
4 votes.
every small city in Ontario,
Oh my God,
except
Kingston
for
won.
Kingston.
Ted Shue again.
Ted Shue, love that guy. Great
He
guy.
won by the greatest margin in the election.
He's a legend. He's great.
He's why the Liberals have all those votes.
Ted Sue, vote share 61.6%. The runner-up is the PC candidate at 22.2.
That's like Soviet Union elections.
Ted Shue, winner of 2012's Best MP of the Year award. He during the Liberal leadership, he ran. He came 4th place. He won Kingston with 89% of the vote. He's
Okay,
loved.
you want to see a
Kingston.
prototypical old-timey city result? Look at Ottawa.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
Ottawa,
Oh, yeah.
liberal suburbs, NDP downtown core,
Conservative
rural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Kingston-
also because like Ottawa is like the most grotesque of the Mike Harris
Yeah.
amalgamations in that like 90% of like Ottawa's urban area is like farmland.
Yes,
I argue
that is
Sudbury
true.
is worse
I
than
live
Ottawa.
there.
Yeah, because like at least Toronto, its forced amalgamation was like by the point it happened.
Free Etobicoke, by the way. When will my people be free?
Like
argue
all the
Sudbury.
suburbs were built up.
Sudbury was pretty
except
bad.
for I guess Sudbury
Sudbury's
too.
a really bad amalgamation.
But like
Don't you
Sudbury.
dare.
I mean, it's Sudbury.
Don't you dare.
How could you forget Sudbury
Okay,
on this
Sudbury.
pro-Sudbury podcast?
Wait, is Sudbury?
okay. Algoma,
Which happened
Manitoulin,
with Sudbury? Is it just?
Sudbury.
Hard orange. Always hard orange, always will be.
Okay,
But,
I would not have been shocked to see a Conservative result because, like, pretty much the only real policy that Doug Ford mentioned before, like, the last 30 seconds of the election was that like all natural resource companies are gonna get like negative 40% tax
So
rates.
fun fact about Sudbury and all of them,
With
with the natural resources, the north has always gone orange because it's not, the employers do not work there, right?
Yeah.
It's the
Oh,
employees.
It's sort of
yeah.
like Bernstein's vision of democracy, where it's all proletarian people there voting.
Yeah.
It's all like working class miners and indigenous people out
Yeah.
there who have like no reason to be like in any way involved with Toryism.
Yeah.
You're telling me that the proletarians are voting and it's not solving their issues?
Interesting.
There was a former
Oh, right, I
MVP
forgot we're supposed to win all the elections. That was a crucial step in the plan.
So Algoma.
I can talk about Algoma Manitoulin.
Yeah. Oh.
So what happened to Algoma Manitoulin? Michael Mantha, the former MPP, he was caught with a scandal. I believe it was sexual assault or misconduct.
It was like misconduct.
Sexual misconduct. Okay, so it was sexual misconduct.
Was it sexual misconduct? Because all it says is misconduct.
It could be misconduct.
And it was like after an investigation, it was found that it was credible, and he was expelled from the party. Misconduct with a staffer,
Yeah.
that could mean a lot of stuff.
Fair.
But it's still like not great. And he ran as an independent.
But he did not it was not a vote split though. The Conservatives won with enough margin.
It was the Lib.
It was there was enough of a vote that the Conservatives would have beat the NDP plus Michael.
Actually, no.
Oh,
if
no?
you combine the NDP and Liberal votes, it looks like the NDP would have won if they had every single Liberal vote, because it was like
All those liberal votes. When it comes to vote splitting, though, you got to consider
be
90%
mostly
of liberals to be conservative.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, but like say if like Michael Mantha didn't win, the NDP would still have come up probably like 600 votes short.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Sault Ste. Marie was Sault Ste. Marie was depressing. The who ran there was not from Sault Ste. Marie, from Kentville. He's from like 6 hours away.
Cuntville.
6 hours away.
Yeah.
This is
But
how
he
I'm
still
trying to
won
win
it.
Cobalt next time.
Wait,
I will say sure.
North or South?
I believe Kentville is south.
Now you know how Algoma would have won
Satanic.
NDP is if you combine NDP, Mantha, and the Green Party. Sherry, why don't you tell us about the Green Party?
Okay.
Oh, it's
So,
butters.
Kentville's near Ottawa. So,
They could have won Perry Sound. Tell us about Perry Sound, Trey.
Paris, Canada,
Like,
Sakoga.
honestly, they came pretty close.
Richter, yeah?
The Greens invested like a bit more $1 billion. In
So,
Paris
okay,
Sound, though.
what happened so Greens won 2 ridings. Guelph, because Mike Schreiner's a legend. He's also a farmer.
I like Mike. That's
You know,
his campaign slogan.
exactly.
Wait, he's also a farmer?
He's a farmer from Kansas.
Cool,
So,
detected.
From Kansas?
yeah, he was born and grew up in Kansas.
Classic Green movement.
So,
Not my Mike.
I
Instead
mean,
of farmer labor.
I strongly believe Guelph because the Ontario Veterinary College and Ontario Agriculture College, they're just really big into ag out there.
Okay.
But in Kitchener, this was the fallout from the JAMA situation, where the Kitchener NDP brought in some like NIMBY councillor from Kitchener City Council, and the Greens brought a pro-housing city councillor in.
Yeah.
And because of JAMA situation, the
Excellent.
NDP kind of left her alone,
Yeah.
and she kind of ran on her
Do
own.
you think Old King Clancy's out next election?
No. She won the by-election 2 years ago, and this election she got 50% plus more
Yeah.
of the vote, so she crushed it. So Madam Clancy, I believe her name is Ashlyn.
Sorry.
Asian.
Madam Clancy?
Ashlyn.
Ashlyn
Her name is
From
Ashlyn
Rainbow
Clancy.
Six Siege?
Clancy?
Mrs. Clancy's Rainbow Six
What were you
Siege?
talking?
He's talking about Tom Clancy. He's talking about Tom Clancy. Yeah.
Tom Clancy's wife.
Rainbow Six Siege. But yeah, Ashlyn Clancy, yeah, she crushed it. The one which I am a huge fan of is the wonderful Queen Bobby Ann Brady, who crushed in Haldeman, Norfolk. I am a strong believer that city folks keep pretending that they like to switch parties and switch and like vote for individuals. They don't. They all vote for the party at the top. I hate city folks for this.
Okay.
The rural people.
First of all,
That's
kill all
because
city
that's
folk.
because everyone lives in this. Okay, Mr. Khmer Rouge.
No, okay, actually, new policy.
First of all,
all
Spencer's the
city
only-
folks should forcibly have to work in the countryside
Interesting. I wonder
for a
if
few
Mr.
months every
Mr.
year.
Mao.
For those who don't know, Ontario in the last 2 elections has voted 1 independent, and she crushes everybody else.
Was she formerly from a party?
So this time she won with over 20,000 over the next person. She
Yeah.
crushed them. The story here is the former MPP Toby Barrett was a hardcore conservative who everyone loved and adored. Bobby Ann Brady was his constituent manager, so she took care of all the constituents there. Toby retired. The conservatives, instead of putting an open nomination, they
Didn't
asked
he parachute in someone? 'Cause
no, they brought in the local mayor of the biggest city
Yeah.
to run instead. She got pissed off, so she ran, and all the farmers, everyone in Halton, Norfolk, went against the mayor and voted for her last time.
Nice.
This election, they brought in the second biggest city's mayor, and she only got 24% of the vote, while Bobby got 64%.
Mayor Slayer.
She's crazy. Like, she just keeps destroying everybody in front of her.
What's her deal?
She just cares about.
I mean,
Norfolk.
you're on the sticks. Everything's pretty
Who is
personless.
she ideologically aligned with?
She's like
ideologically conservative?
She's a constituent MPP, which means that she's generally more conservative leaning. But that said, she will always vote for whatever she thinks of people, like the farmers would like.
Yeah, but she could just subjectively choose that every time.
Yeah, exactly. Unlike the city folks who always vote for party and never look at the people, last election,
Like you should.
in 2021, when the Liberals ran a guy who sexually assaulted women and like
Is
lied,
that Kevin Vuong?
yeah, and lied about being in the army, they still voted him in because he had the word liberal next to his campaign, even after liberals said he's not our guy.
And now isn't he taking like this Toryist turn?
Yeah, he is.
Sounds about right.
VUONG.
No, in a full reflection of what's going on with this election,
He was in the army.
he was in the reserve, but he really like boosted how much he did in the
He was
army.
a sub-lieutenant. That's like the lowest possible.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy like barely passed RMC.
He was in the HMCS York.
Welcome back, Jimmy Carter.
If you go to the HMCS York, which it's supposed to be a ship, right?
Yeah.
It shows you a building.
It's a land ship.
Canada's strongest naval ship. So, reflection on this election, the Conservatives won again, mainly because everyone was worried about cost of living, and for some reason everyone assumes the Conservatives are good at that. I think the bigger thing beyond that is that the Liberals just had no game in the actual ground game. Every election is two wars, right? It's the air war and the ground game.
Okay.
They completely
It's
lost.
a real war.
There's two wars within you.
They completely
What about
lost.
the naval war, though?
It's a building.
You can
dog.
see the building.
Right, I forgot this was Canada. There's no navy here.
So the air war, the Liberals crushed it, right? They got 30% of the vote, but they could not get anyone in a concentrated area to come out. The NDP won more just because their people are much more popular. If I'm correct, every NDP person who won was an incumbent. No NDP incumbent lost except for one in Toronto St. Paul, but she's
Sorry,
weird.
name
my
drop.
union
My-
endorsed her.
The only thing my dad said
Like
about her
that.
was like the fat phobic candidate lost. That's all he said.
She's a very odd candidate.
Who was
She's
this?
much more of an
Toronto
act-
St. Paul's, Jill
Oh,
Andrews.
sorry, I was keep saying they are much more activist as a
Jill
person.
Andrews?
Yeah. But no incumbent other than them lost in this election. So the NDP candidates are just really, really good at keeping their people, but they did not do any pushes anywhere. And I'm terrified that the next election comes. They lost people this time. They're going to lose votes. They lost votes in 2022. They lost votes in 2025. I'm terrified as more and more people retire or more people switch to the federal party. They're just going to keep losing people.
Yeah, because Butila Corpoche
She left.
decided to go federal, and I mean, the NDP won her seat.
Yeah, they
but
did.
like, she was one of the few MPPs I was aware of
Yeah.
because I'd like seen some like the highlight reels of her speaking in Parliament as I think the critic on education.
Yeah. Not education. That was merit. Oh, I guess maybe after. Yeah.
So,
But she was like even
She was-
before
yeah, she was
merit
high.
like a party one of the party critics.
Yeah, the stars.
all right, I have a question for you, Shrey,
I mean,
because
it's-
I didn't follow this stuff too frankly, I didn't follow this stuff too closely because I knew that my own riding was like a 60-40 kind of split, so I just had to do the like half-baked strategic voting because it was 5 liberals.
You knew that my dad's ex would win.
We're gonna dox your dad like
So
this.
luckily no one knows his dad or who his dad might have dated.
Well, we
in
know
high
where
school.
we know
This
where
was
you
like
live.
decades ago in the 80s briefly.
I've moved.
Okay.
So there's no longer a liquor store in my backyard, apparently. But I remember as the election was starting up, every single article was like Doug Ford and NDP leader.
Yeah.
And just, they
Or
never
Bonnie
named
Crombie.
it. I didn't see, I didn't see anyone name anything NDP.
Yeah.
And this is my, I don't have to say it's really a conspiracy, but it was always Doug Ford versus vague other people, which always makes it look like Doug Ford is the primary guy.
So to be fair, the premier did a lot of really smart things that the others just couldn't compete with. He went to Washington. The others could not go to Washington.
Yeah.
right? He stood in front of the Trump's terrace because he's the only one who could legally in the province.
Okay, but I don't think anyone was really was swung by like the Washington.
They- not the Washington.
No. I will say
The tariffs,
my
yeah.
hardline security guard, who we have a headcanon, moonlights as a PI.
The one that was into me?
No.
No, this is an old Jamaican lady.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait.
Also,
sorry.
Don't dox her. She's
talking.
amazing. But she came up to me and she was like, I hate that Doug Ford guy, but what he's doing against Trump, I have to vote for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people did
Strong
genuinely
ideas.
like
Yeah.
Doug Ford's response to Trump. I will say this. I think one of the critical weaknesses of the NDP and the Liberals in the past few elections is they genuinely believe Doug Ford is a bumbling idiot.
Yes,
They
yes.
think his folksy persona is real and that he's like some hick.
Yep.
But he is actually an incredibly competent politician and electoral figure.
and not a hick.
When
he is an Etobicoke hick, but
when Trump attacked Canada, right? The Conservative Party, who had tied themselves to Trump for months, for years, the Conservative Party had tied themselves to Trump. They were left floundering. Danielle Smith, Pierre Poilievre, left in the dust. Doug Ford, the incident happened. He knew the exact right move to make.
Yep.
He knew the exact right tact to
Captain
take against
Canada.
Trump.
Yeah.
I want over under on whether he keeps up hating on Trump or whether he like doesn't drop it but backs off significantly.
he's safe until Trump's term ends.
Yeah.
So that means that he doesn't need to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is he gonna keep being as much of a dog as he is, or do you think he's gonna drop it 90%?
I think he's savvy enough to know that the public is not going to like if he like
Drops
in
it.
2029 if he drops it. But like I think he can drop it to the point where he can't become pro Trump.
Yeah.
But he can drop it to the point where he's like sort of conciliatory.
Is he gonna rotate to we at least need to take these threats credibly and do some of this stuff for him, but also I hate that guy, which is like caving to everything but socially being against
If I know Doug Ford, and he used to be my neighbor, so I feel like I did. I feel like whatever the right move is, he'll do it. He's like incredibly competent.
The way to understand Premier Ford is this: what he wants to be loved by people, and so as long as he feels like he's doing things that people will like, it might make him hate it in like 2 years. It might only make the people around him like him and no one else. But as long as he feels like he's being loved, he'll do it, whatever it is.
yeah, I mean, I do think he's kind of like in some ways a bumbling idiot, but I still
not a
think he's like
idiot.
he's
He is competently evil.
yeah.
I think, which is what people
Yeah.
don't understand. He's competently evil. He is ripping out our bike lanes. He's destroying the greenbelt.
Because he knows people around him will love him.
He
has
fucked
his-
over the nurses.
He fucked over the nurses. He has his passion projects, like that fucking tunnel.
Yeah.
Also, okay,
The highway, but like, he is
okay.
competent. He's
About
really-
those bike lanes. My MP, who like half
MP or
of her
CP?
MPP, sorry, who half of her campaign was like, I got the premier to take out the bike lanes on Bloor Street in the Kingsway. She ate it.
She lost.
Yeah.
She lost by like
4,000.
by 8%.
Rip Bozo.
Yeah, and this was like a surprise for both me and my dad because we live in like Etobicoke, very
So
especially like the ritzy part of Etobicoke where everyone's like right wing.
that's the thing I'm scared about, because the reason why she won, you're talking about Madame Fairclough and how she
Yeah.
won. She won because she ran last time. She did very well for a
Yeah,
liberal.
she only lost by 803
And
votes last time.
She didn't stop working. The entire last 4 years, she kept door knocking going. She kept the ground game up, which the liberals usually suck at. That's what I'm terrified of the next election, because the liberals now have official status. They now have money. And they're going to start sending people to do what Lee did in the rest of the province. They're going to just do that ground game while the NDP are going to still flounder with the air war.
I think liberals do have that dog in them. They're
Now.
obsessed with power, so they'll do what it takes to gain power.
The other thing I just want to say,
Yeah.
actually, this might be a different topic. It's still Ontario related, but it's a different topic with the election. If you have something else to say,
I was just gonna say, I think one of the interesting things about the bike lane decisions is that they're extremely popular with everyone who lives everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not at all popular with the people that actually live there.
Yeah.
Like, to get rid of the Bloor Street bike lanes, for the most part, it's popular for people who live on the other side
Mississauga.
and work on one side, live on the other, and have to drive through. Where the people that actually live on these downtown places in Bloor Street are like, those bike lanes are good as hell for me.
Lee Fairclough. She was
I
on
might
the
have.
Canadian women's national rugby team.
Oh wow.
well,
yeah.
she's a hospital CEO too, eh?
I did not know that.
I believe so.
That sort of ruined the rugby thing for me.
Running a hospital with like
I believe so.
advanced CTE.
Yeah, senior vice president, Cam H.
Cam H?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll
That's
put some respect
yeah.
on it.
Oh,
I'll put some respect
oh my
on
God.
it.
So the
yeah.
other thing I want to say is I really hate those people who are like, oh, the NDP won 18%,
Yeah.
and they should have gotten 18% of seats.
Oh, okay.
The Conservatives
If
won
only
43.
the Liberal Party had a chance to fix the electoral system 10 years ago.
To be fair, they did actually run a referendum in 2007, and
Yeah.
Ontario said, no, we're not doing this.
So what?
So what?
But I really,
Public are idiots. They don't know what's good for them.
I don't like, I hate how people become so pro, like, oh, we need to make the Liberals get, 30% of the seats or whatever it is. The Conservatives only get 43%, all that proportional representation stuff. I hate that.
Why?
I hate FTPT. I hate first past the post. I'm not a first past the post person.
Yeah.
But I hate the people like the only way to fix our electoral system is make it more sports team like, make
Yeah.
it more party based. Party based politics just makes it more on the people on the inside and more polarized. That's not how you make a better democracy. And those
I think there's no electoral system that will
STV.
fix. No, there is no electoral system that will fix liberalism.
Okay, well,
This is just idealism.
Yeah.
A workers' democracy. A democracy of councils, you might say. A union of councils, you might say.
Yeah. And look, workers
That are maybe
all
socialist in character.
workers are all the same class, right? So
Well, yes,
why
you
do we
need
need
more
more
than
than
one
one party?
Yeah.
All right, Shrey, you say your ideas and I'll blow them out the water.
Like, I will say that it's like all these centrist parties that keep being made. It's like the inverse of all those communist parties that get made. Where it's like, how many bourgeois parties are there?
Yeah.
Oh, we need the Ontario. We need a party that's between the Forward Progress Party and the Ontario Party for centrist.
This is what Mark Carney should be. He is like the ideal of everyone that is liberal because he believes that we should just have like better values and that'll fix our system. But also he's all in on markets. So all the conservatives should be happy. He thinks that we should have like some programs for certain things. So all the NDP people should be happy. All the bourgeois parties should be voting for Mark Carney.
Yeah.
Shrey, was it you who sent that like fake Wikipedia article to the chat?
maybe which one?
With like everyone as like an
No, that
Arab
was me, that was
politician.
me.
that was one of the best things I'd seen.
So
Mark Carney is the head of the Canadian Socialist Renaissance. we do need some Baathism in this country.
All right, Shrey.
I mean, Mark Carney is basically a Baathist.
Okay, fix the voting system for us real quick.
I'm a strong believer that making politics more party-based is the worst idea we can do, and making it more proportional that way is not how we fix it. I strongly believe the way to fix politics, or fix democracy, I'm going to put out a controversial topic in this table, but not controversial anywhere else. I'm going to assume democracy is good overall.
Okay.
And-
Already off to a bad start.
if we assume that is the good, then we need to make politics more meritocratic based, where it's more on the people who can actually provide change and actually have an idea of what they're doing. I'm a strong believer in STV, which is single transferable vote, and it's the idea where right now, people who run, they're just going off the party vibes, right? No one knows why they're voting; they're just voting off the party vibes. I'm voting for the blue one because I like conservatism, kind of. STV is the idea that every riding should have multiple people representing it, so that there could be 3 people in one riding. All 3 of them could be conservative, all 3 of them could be liberal, all 3 of them could be mixed between anyone.
Okay.
And so each candidate has to be better than the next candidate, which means that conservatives have to fight each other, liberals have to fight each other, everyone has to fight each other, with the idea that the one who's the most meritocratic will win naturally because they'll be able to get most people to support them.
Okay.
How about this?
Shrey, I think you just want personalist
I
politics.
feel it seems more
Shrey-
like the one who is most, like, in a conservative right, the liberal who is the most conservative and sells out their
Yeah.
ideas.
Shrey
Not
just
necessarily,
Shrey
so-
longs for an Ontario Napoleon.
Yes.
What does that mean?
We all do, sort of. This is a pro-Napoleon table,
All right.
to be
so
clear.
I've got
Because we're
Wait,
all
actually-
reincarnations of
Wait,
Mars.
before you go on this, Shrey, how about this to fix politics, okay? Ireland has single transferable vote.
Okay.
You know what else they do? Is on the ballot, they print the person's job.
I like that.
So, for example, here's an example ballot. So it has a bunch of people with affiliated and not affiliated with parties, and we'll say, for example, D. Burka, Green Party, psychologist, or Keddy, non-party, plumber, or something like that.
this is
Yeah,
all
but,
gonna
like,
fall
Ireland-
apart the second you have a conservative who's into physics.
Ireland
Why?
has this system, but it still doesn't prevent them from being run by like two nearly identical
Like, a single
conservative
transferable
parties.
vote doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
All right, so
like they're run by like two
No,
parties who
so-
have their roots in like Christian fascism.
So that's my issue. Is that you're talking about it on a party level. I'm not talking about party level. I'm talking about the individual level, where the quality of politician has gone down.
Do you think they should
all
abolish
right,
parties?
so
I don't think they should abolish
quality
parties.
of politicians has
that's
gone
like the
down.
same idealism the founding fathers of America
Let's jump in
had.
here.
Look where that got them.
We're gonna scratch any sense of idealism and debates being what will change the world. All right.
Okay.
So here's a couple points. You want it to be
It's like
meritocratic
go for it,
and fix things being purely based on vibes. So what we do is we take our current ridings and have every single person in those ridings fight in a bracket, one-on-ones, whoever
Craterocracy.
gets to the top. All right. So we fix that, but you want multiple opinions
That's a
per
Justin
riding.
Trudeau win.
So we'll just take like. Yeah, so multiple opinions per riding, we take the top 3. This is purely based on physicality and the ability to fight. It is meritocratic, it is not based on vibes, and it guarantees 3 leaders per riding.
Of course,
who will
Spencer's
almost
advocating-
certainly not agree.
Of course, Spencer's advocating.
WWEocracy?
WWEocracy.
I think there is this sort of. I mean, this isn't literally the style of government, but there is a government by the strongest.
Yeah.
It's called like cratocracy or something like that.
Yeah.
Spencer just wants to recreate a scenario where like you just fight the chief for chiefdom, and he wants to just recreate like lion prides.
Dueling culture.
Cratocracy,
Exactly.
plural, cratocracies, a government established by forceful or cunning seizure of power and maintained by strength.
So this is not cunning. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily cunning. It's pretty explicit, actually.
I think this would be good for Canada.
the French
here's an idea.
Anglo wars will be so much more
Here's
fun.
an idea.
Oh, that would be crazy. Imagine Ontario versus Quebec.
Quebec's allowed to be separated if they beat the best Englishman in a battle.
Okay,
Oh.
who would win, Francois Legault or Doug Ford, in a physical fight?
The two like I'm gonna say it, the two
Wob
fattest
Canoe would win.
premiers. Who is gonna win?
Wob Canoe
Sumo
would
fight.
win, for sure.
I mean-
sumo fights?
I mean,
I
Doug
don't know
Ford
Legault.
and Francois Legault have the
Pull up
physique of
his
being able to
specs.
get into.
It's Francois
Sure. How many
fast.
people live in Ontario?
Around 14 million?
I thought it was 15 million.
Is it 15 million?
I think
now?
it's 15 million now.
We did it.
I-
But that also includes like
A million
imported temporary
Yeah.
slave labor.
Yeah, basically.
Okay,
All
so
right,
sure,
Legault,
let's say
Legault is large, but he's not nearly large enough to outweigh and out momentum Doug Ford, but not small
Ford-
enough to be able to out technique and speed.
Wob Canoe
Ford
will
is
most likely
our
win.
largest premier.
Wob Canoe will most likely win.
Okay.
That guy's buff as hell.
now, Shrey.
True.
Let's say we want. So the goal of liberal democracy is to create a representation of the population.
Yes.
Right. You're voting for representatives.
Yes, okay.
What if we sampled representatively
Yeah.
from Ontarians?
Uh-huh.
We extended 12,005 invites
Uh-huh.
with an expected return of 2,401. Then those first 2,401 people to reply are put into the legislature as a representative sample of Ontario's population. That would give us, with a 95% confidence level, margin of error 2%, so 93 to 97% confidence level, that they would perfectly represent Ontario's
It's
voters.
genuinely terrifying how I've met non-political people ask me, why don't we just do it this way instead?
So true.
Like, I've seen more and more people.
we would be a communist country in 2 days.
The bourgeois, exactly. The bourgeois interest would be disintegrated because there's
Okay.
fundamentally infinitely less
Okay.
bourgeois people.
Okay, government by sortition has historically been the most democratic method of governance.
Yeah, because you could get a perfectly representative sample.
Well, it was also that in like historical democracies thought elections were like way too vulnerable to just corruption, which was
Not
like,
possible.
But they also like had a population of 400 people.
Yeah,
Corruption didn't exist in history.
Not possible. Democracy can't be corrupt.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Get 2,401 people in parliament. We'll adjust it as the population grows or if it contracts.
Okay, how about this? You take my opinion, multiply it 2,401 times, and then take that as the correct decision.
So it is a very, very small possibility that randomly we select 2,401 clones of Spencer if they are in the population.
Is it choosing by replacement or no? Because if there's no replacement
No, it's 12,005. The
Okay.
first 2,401 respondents.
with replacement, like if Spencer replies immediately with 2,000 times saying me.
No. Not with no, we're not bootstrapping the legislature.
Yeah, the point of this, unfortunately, is to build it so that it's not like that.
Yeah.
So if we immediately find a way to build it like it's like that, our thought experiment kind of collapses in on itself. Just is what it is.
You would either have a communist government or a fascist government, depending on how many small business owners are randomly selected within like 2 days.
Well, this is what America discovered during the Cold War, was that like the reason they had to install fascist dictators in every single country they interacted with was because they figured out that if you let people vote and represent their opinions, you end up with a communist government instantly.
Well, that's why the U.S. like foreign aid and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh,
We should talk about that.
okay. 55 minutes in.
Trying to make it
Call
so
this
subtle.
episode here. It's probably going to end up being 45 minutes. We'll come back with the rest of our news, which will include
Wait,
USA.
should we do final thoughts? Because I think I have like maybe 1 or 2 on the election.
All right.
One is that I kind of knew Ford would win at least 2 weeks ago.
Oh, everyone did.
Yeah.
And
You knew
2,
that Ford would win
Like last
before
year?
he even called the election.
I mean, like, I was like, he's gonna fucking win.
Yeah.
Wow,
We're all like
Nostradamus
that.
over there.
And 2 was, this was the most 2021 ass election at the provincial level.
Voter
Yeah.
turnout went up.
Voter turnout went up, but like the results
1%.
shifted by like
I know,
1.
I know.
Yeah.
Ford gained 1 seat, the NDP lost 1.
No, Ford lost 3 seats.
Yeah, no, but going
in.
in, but at the
No, he
dissolution,
won.
That's because he kicked people out because of independence.
Yeah,
but,
but, like,
He
83.
net gained 1.
83. No, he lost 3. 83 is 80.
But he had 79 seats for the election. Now he's
Someone
Dissolution.
Going
because-
into
we
the
just
election.
said 18 numbers. How many did he win or lose?
Okay,
Since
ignoring the 22 result. Going into this election, he had like what 79. He gained 1. The NDP had 28. They lost 1. The Liberals won 5 seats, and they finally became a party. That's like the only thing that happened this election. This is functionally like a federal 2021 election result at like
Yeah.
the provincial level.
Nothing changes.
I disagree with that.
Nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also both triggered for the same reason.
It was it was triggered to win. Like,
Yeah, it was triggered to win.
yeah. But what fundamentally changes is that we have 4 more years of him instead of 3.
So
Or
nothing
one.
changed.
You're
Actually,
saying the
we might
biggest thing
have
that
a full
changed?
4 more years of Trudeau or not Trudeau, of maybe
Liberal.
Carney.
Oh.
Because like, what was it? The NDP are now like a little bit
Scared?
Scared, but they made some noise about not triggering an election
Yeah,
now.
now. Mark Carney's going to trigger the election.
Yeah. So Shrey, you just said the most fundamental change is that for the next 4 years we're guaranteed that nothing will change.
Ford more years.
Ford
more years.
1980 Ford.
That's one big brother.